welcome back to For Real. It's great to have you here for today's News Moto. Thank you for watching our videos. 100% of the money we earn from YouTube goes to charities here in Cambodia, and you are helping us earn this money just by watching. In the description of our videos, you can see how much we've earned from YouTube and where the money is going. There are also links to those charities in case you'd like to support them yourself. They're all reputable, long-standing organisations that are doing great work here in the Kingdom. It's time to get started with this week's news. Today is Wednesday, the 9th of February 2022. There have been no changes to the FAQs, so land borders are still closed and visas on arrival are still not available. It's currently possible to convert a tourist visa to an E-type visa with an extension in country, and I believe both the EB and ER extensions are available. You never know when this is going to change though, and coming to Cambodia with the intention to stay long term on the strength of this conversion being available is not something I'd advise. This option could be withdrawn at any time, and it just seems a little too risky now with the Omicron numbers surging in the Kingdom. Prime Minister Hun Sen announced yesterday that 200 new cases of COVID-19 were found, which prompted him to call for emergency action to curb the spread. The figure is so far the highest in the last few months since daily cases fell to single digits, but later increased to double digits, and have now risen to over 100 a day since Saturday the 5th of February. In his voice message to the public, the Prime Minister said that local cases have surged since the Chinese New Year, which has proven that the people were not properly implementing preventative measures to stop the spread of the virus, especially the Omicron variant. The Prime Minister expressed his concern over the possible spread of the Omicron variant from Phnom Penh capital to the provinces. He therefore ordered the reinforcement of preventative measures at high-risk areas such as nightclubs, and suggested limiting the number of attendees at weddings, religious gatherings, etc. Fed up with the apathy of those refusing to be vaccinated, the Ministry of Health plans to introduce a no jab, no job measure to ensure COVID-19 and its variants, especially the Omicron strain, do not become a widespread problem in the Kingdom. This measure will also be extended to those who have already had their basic inoculations but are stalling to get booster doses, which are required to protect themselves and those around them from getting infected by more virulent strains of COVID-19. A Health Ministry spokesperson said yesterday that they will be forced to implement this harsh measure if apathy over getting vaccinated persists. We are considering to come down hard on those who are unvaccinated with basic doses or haven't received the booster shot when it's their turn, he said, adding that these people will face job losses and could even be barred from venturing out of their houses even after the virus situation becomes endemic. This will even apply to teachers who refuse to get vaccinated. They will not be allowed to enter schools and possibly infect the students, he said. If there is no option left, we will implement this no jab, no job measure. So how is Cambodia's vaccination campaign going? New statistics from the Ministry of Health showed that 89.78% of Cambodia's 16 million population have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, still one of the highest in the world. Among those, the government has achieved 102.8% of its 10 million target in the adult population. It almost reached the target of vaccinating nearly 2 million minors between the ages of 12 and 17, while the government has already succeeded in the 6 to 12 and 3 to 5 age groups, achieving 106.5% and 106.88% respectively. On the New York Times tracking list of coronavirus vaccinations around the world, Cambodia stands at number 9, and in Southeast Asia is behind only Brunei, whose population is just under 1 million. What does all of this mean for the upcoming Khmer New Year celebrations? Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced that this year the festivities will go ahead and the New Year will be celebrated after an absence of 2 years. He has urged Cambodians to practice the 3 do's and 3 don'ts and to ensure that they are vaccinated so the nation's efforts are not wasted. Lamenting the lack of New Year celebrations for 2 years, he said, "Let's dance for fun, but dance a little apart." He also said that he had negotiated to buy 5 million doses of Sinovac from China, but the Chinese ambassador told him that there was no need to order and that China would provide it. We can only hope the spread of Omicron is slowed and the celebration is allowed to go ahead in a safe way. Now let's look to Cambodia's neighbours to the east and west. In the central Vietnamese city of Da Nang, a replica of Angkor Wat located in a theme park has fueled discussions in Cambodia. The Angkor Wat replica is attracting international tourists to visit Vietnam without them then needing to come to Cambodia to visit the real Angkor Wat. A Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts spokesperson said yesterday that they were investigating this issue and gathering information before initiating a discussion with Vietnam. A spokesperson for Cambodia's Apsara authority said, "We respect every country, their people, culture, traditions and values. We must also respect the country's heritage, which is very invaluable to the nation and its people," he said, adding that the replica does not worry him unduly, as tourists will always want to see the original Angkor Wat, as they know its culture and heritage value. He said, "If they spend money to buy plane tickets to travel around the world, they spend money to visit the diamonds, not the pebbles. So I believe that international tourists who travel from one country to another will want to see the real World Heritage Site rather than a replica." To the west in Thailand, 284 illegal Cambodian migrant workers have been deported. The workers had crossed the border into Thailand illegally in search of employment. The workers were tested for COVID and 50 of those were found to be positive. These people were sent to quarantine centres for observation. Back in Phnom Penh, Cambodia's most popular money transfer service called Wing has evolved and is now a full-service bank with its first branch open for business. Wing also has retail components such as Wing Pay and has also recently introduced Wing Mall, an e-commerce platform. Through its revolutionary Wing Bank app, Wing Bank offers 100 digital solutions to solve specific problems for every Cambodian. Looks like Wing is taking it to ABA as a big player in the field. In Takeo province, a mass fainting of workers at a handbag factory has sparked an inspection of the factory's working conditions. The reason behind the fainting is still unknown, but many of the workers said they were suffering from extreme dizziness. The investigation continues. In Cambodia's northeastern province of Mondulkiri, a large investigation is underway into the murder of 5 related villagers. This story has been making headlines since the bodies of the victims were first discovered over 5 days ago. The murdered villagers were members of the Bunong ethnic minority group and included 3 children. The murders took place in a remote mountainous area of the Mondulkiri province. Police yesterday arrested 6 suspects. One of the 6 suspected to be the mastermind is also the father of one of the murdered children. There is still much uncertainty surrounding the case. Provincial police say more will become clear when the suspects are taken to court for further questioning today. According to police, the suspects claim that the killings were an act of revenge, as members of the murdered family practiced witchcraft. One of the deceased had been shot in the head and the others had been cruelly bludgeoned to death. The village chief said, "As a local authority in this village, I am deeply saddened by the loss of the lives of good people in the village. I do not know about this incident for sure because we leave this role to the officers to take legal action. The officers are busy investigating this," he said. Moving on to a more positive news story, electric vehicle charging stations are coming to Cambodia soon. This is part of the commitment to reduce carbon emissions to zero by 2050. In collaboration with gas stations, there are plans to install charging stations at 10 locations in collaboration with potential investors. The Ministry of Public Works is also considering requesting food service providers such as Foodpanda, Nam24 and eGets to examine the feasibility of using electric motorcycles instead of gasoline-powered ones. And speaking of green energy, it's our furry friends in the forests who benefit from these actions. This past week, there have been sightings of a number of rare animals. In the northeast of Cambodia, rare hog badgers have been spotted. Cameras have also captured sambars on film. They literally look like a deer in the headlights. And finally, the beautiful leopard cat has also been seen. All of these animals are threatened by habitat destruction, and I hope their presence forces those who make decisions to slow down the development in Cambodia's forested areas. That brings us to the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom. Thank you for watching. Links to the stories mentioned will be in the pinned comment, and the description of this video contains links to other channels making content about Cambodia, so be sure to check those out. Take care, stay safe, and we will see you in our next video.